Maybe because I have the Razer app open. What about if I close that, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah.
So that's gone off now. Let me change it back to this, and then back to... I think I done it!
There it
I
is.
done it!
Woo!
Winning!
Winning.
Who said I'm not good at technology?
I'm saying now, you did great.
I did a good job. Good job, Chloe. Well done.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask
Yay!
you what to call you because your tag on Discord is
Yeah.
your YouTube channel name, whatever. So Chloe, got it.
Yeah, Chloe. Yeah, and then the username is Englefield Echo. But yeah, you can call me Chloe.
Perfect. Well, it's nice to meet
Or
you.
anything. I answer to anything. Oi, you, you know.
Right? Hey, you, come here.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
so but just before we start, I have a
yeah,
parrot, and she's already like walking around. Like every time I'm having a conversation, she likes to get involved. So if she does come over, it will probably happen. So just
that's
I'll put it
fine.
out there now.
Hey, look, like I said, it's really relaxed. We're
Yeah,
just two people talking about airsoft stuff. So, you know,
I'm nervous.
nothing. Yeah, are you? I was a little nervous too. I mean, it's always nervous. I'm always nervous meeting new people on here because I'm not met you in real life.
Yeah,
So it's and actually, I just texted you a couple days ago.
yeah.
Um, so I always look through newer YouTube channels and
Mhm.
try to find who's got something going on that I could have some fun talking with because I know when I first started, it was man, it was rough. Like editing, learn how to edit and put everything together, and yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm glad I enjoy it. Otherwise, I just wouldn't do it. Like
oh, for sure.
it's just like yeah, it's such a pain. And I'm not very good at it, but like I find the stuff that I do funny, and that's like all that matters.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I sent you a text on the other day. I said I was watching one of your videos, and it was a gameplay video, and you paused it at this one part. I can't remember what happened, but and you had this voice overlay. That's when he realized he
Uh,
fucked up or something like that. Oh yeah, I
yeah,
love that kind of stuff.
yeah, I'm here for it definitely. I think it
Yeah,
just like brings a different edge to like the video as well.
yeah, for sure. I mean, gameplay videos are unless you have the kind of stuff like Silo and Novrich, those type of sniping videos. If you don't have
Mhm.
that, gameplay
Yeah.
videos can get really stale because there's a lot of time, a lot of video in between. There's a lot of dead time, a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
downtime. So it's like you have 3 hours of GoPro video. And you get 2 minutes out of it.
Yeah.
Oh
And you
my
have to sit
god.
there like minute by minute like did something happen then?
Oh, listen. So, I don't know if you know a lot about our channel, but four of us started it. So two of the guys are my sons, or two of my sons,
Okay.
and then the third guy is they're one of their good friends. So when they all started playing airsoft, I said I had already started a couple YouTube channels, and so I was like, oh, this would be kind of cool to film what you guys are doing. So they would bring home. Long story short, they would bring home hours because each of them would go to like a mil sim, whatever, and they'd each have a GoPro. So
Yeah.
they'd have GoPro, and I mean, we went all out. We had they each had a GoPro on their helmet. Then they had the scope cam, and
Mhm.
then they had a GoPro on the end of their rifle facing back at them. So
Yeah.
they'd come back from a mil sim or a 1 day event, and they would dump 20 hours of video on my desk.
Oh god.
And now I was recovering from being paralyzed, so I wasn't working, and so I had all this time to I was doing 8 to 10 hours a day of editing.
Yeah.
So I was going
Wow.
through their all their videos. I don't know when the firefights happen in
Yeah.
gameplay. So I'm
Yeah,
literally
that's true,
watching
yeah.
20 hours of gameplay to see
Normally
like
it's like them walking back like, yep, hit.
hit. Oh God.
God, I bet it kind of kept your mind off of it though. Like, you was obviously going through something.
Oh, I had to.
Um,
I had to.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of a hyper person anyway. Like I don't like sitting around. I like to do stuff. Anyone that's ever worked with me in the past, like my saying is, "Hey, I got shit to do. Like, hurry up and tell me what you got to tell me because I got shit to do." So I was always on the go,
Yeah.
and then I got sick. I was paralyzed. It's some autoimmune disorder, kind of like Lou Gehrig's disease,
Mhm.
and so I mean, once I was able to get out of bed and walk down the hallway here to this office and like use a mouse,
Mhm.
I said, "Oh yeah, I gotta do something,"
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
going nuts. But that's how kind of
Mhm.
how it started, and
Yeah.
but I had all this time in the beginning to edit all these videos, but I would literally watch so many hours of gameplay, and I'm like dozing off, like, oh wait, did I miss some? Because a
So
firefight might only be
yeah.
like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
oh
like,
shit.
especially because, like, I remember parts of the day because it was on my head, so I can quickly, like, I can like, be like, you're right, yeah, that took like, 5 minutes
Yep.
to then start to get into a firefight, but you're just literally like minute by minute, second by second, like, is
Yes.
that something?
Oh my God. I went through so
God.
much, and then with that, so many videos. But and then eventually I told him, when you guys get back from an event, uh, why don't you each, because they have computers, they know how to
Hmm.
do all this stuff. I said, why don't you take each of your videos and just kind of cut it down for me, because you know where things happened. And man, it was. But anyway, that was. They didn't really like doing the gameplay videos. It was a lot of work for them to, keep up the batteries, change out the
Yeah.
batteries, remember to, yeah, it was a lot of prep. And they're like, because I was pushing them to do this for the channel. And they're
Yeah.
like, can we just not? I'm like, you got to wear it. Make sure you change it. I was like on their ass all the time. I'm like, give me more content. And they're like, okay, fine. We'll record everything. And then they dump 20 hours of video
Yeah.
on me. I'm like,
And then you're like,
okay,
oh.
slow down. I didn't know what I
Oh
was asking
gosh.
for.
Yeah. And then you got what you was asking for, and you were like,
Oh,
ah.
I was like, shit. Okay, this is not good.
God, see, I've only got the one camera. I have a GoPro on my head, but I've been trying to get my hands on a scope cam for ages. But the 4K ones are just like they're like
Yeah.
unicorn poo. They're just they're not here. They're not around. I don't know why, but
Uh,
yeah, they're completely sold out everywhere. So I kind of just have to make do with the one on my head, basically.
oh yeah, yeah. And that usually ends up being pretty good. Unless, like I said, unless you're sniping, you can
Yeah,
see those
yeah,
long shots. The scope cam's great for that. But other than that, if you're running and gunning, the scope cam sucks because it's
yeah.
just, like, because it's always zoomed in.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm not like I need one, but like sometimes in my videos, like we had like we went to like an event and there was like over 300 people there, and it was like because a lot of our games are in woodlands, so like there's a lot of it that it was obviously a slower day because it was just gridlocked around the map, and I felt like if I had a scope cam it probably would have made a better video because some of it was a bit further away. Normally I'm like running out like getting everyone's faces, but this time round it was a bit more subdued. So I think a scope cam would have been good for that one, but yeah, most of the time I'm running in like a headless chicken.
Oh yeah. I have this stand-up desk, one of the that goes up
Oh,
and down,
nice.
and I don't like to sit, so I
Yeah,
well, from coming
yeah,
out of being in bed all the time.
yeah.
So I like to stand. Well, this desk, every time you can see it move, I put my arms up here to just like rest. And I always, when I'm editing my videos, I'm like, shit, I got to stop touching the desk because the camera's going all crazy. But yeah, it's not perfect, whatever.
I work in a preschool and it's like a different Montessori is like a different type of learning.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, we have those here.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
thought you would. I think it's quite
yeah,
big in America, actually.
yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
private schools, they call them, a lot of them call them the Montessori schools or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
And by the way, we're recording. We're not live. So
Yeah.
it's just record. I'm just doing screen record, like, through OBS. So if
Yeah.
anything, if your parrot goes crazy and starts pecking you in the head or something,
That'll be good.
we can we can edit out whatever. I probably wouldn't edit that out. That'd be kind of cool.
No.
But
Yeah.
if
That'd be
So
amazing. Ruby, come here and do that. One time when I was streaming, actually, I used to well, I do want to start doing it again, but I used to stream video games.
yeah.
And I was one time on Call of Duty, and I was sitting, and I would face this way, and she was sitting on my shoulder, this side, and like somehow got herself wrapped around my headset, so her head was like stuck in there whilst I'm recording. She starts going mental on my shoulder, and I'm literally like, "What's happening?" She's like screaming, and I just had to like shut the whole thing down and like
Oh my
sort out what
God.
was happening on my shoulder. I was like, I can't, and I watched it back, and I was like, that was utter madness. Like, I can't believe it happened.
You should have made a short out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it
That
was on Twitch, and I think I was like, when you're not really known on Twitch, there's a point where like you can't save your streams, and I think it
Oh,
was like then, which was quite sad. So
yeah, yeah.
it's gone
I just
forever.
watched your short that you just posted on your on the front page of your YouTube channel. The little blooper kind of thing, whatever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, because we did a couple of blooper videos last year,
yeah,
and or the first year we started, and it was yeah, I had fun doing it. It was like
yeah,
we're trying to. It was the exact same thing that you
yeah,
did. You're trying to, like, I want to say this, but that doesn't come out.
yeah. Like, especially
Yeah.
because when you're not used to, like, when I first started recording and stuff, I was like, it's so, like, especially because I don't really work behind a computer anyway, and then sitting here like talking to a camera was really weird for me. So then, like, there's so many times where I'm like, hi, like, it was so unnatural. I was like, this is unreal, like, I can't do this. And then
It's
yeah, I
yeah,
just thought, you know what, there were so many times where I messed up. I was like, I'm just gonna mug myself off and put it up there. I was like, people will enjoy it, so there
yeah,
we go.
yeah. That's what you have to get. You have to get to that point because we're so critical of ourselves. When you edit your own videos, you're like,
Yeah.
I hate the way I sound. I hate the way I look. I mean, there was time I have this ring light, and then I have these two like clip-on book lights. These are for like,
Okay.
if you're reading a book
Yeah.
in bed or something. So I had those because I was like, when I first started editing, I'm like, bro, my face looks fat as hell. I got this fucking chin like hanging down. So I'm trying to like turn these lights on everywhere. Like, how can I get this to where I don't look like, an old fat guy? Like, what is this? And then, the audio was just like, it was a lot to learn in the beginning. I had to get
Yeah.
over that. Like, okay, whatever. This is just me.
Yeah.
I'm not a movie star. I'm not going to be all maked up, with makeup
Yeah.
and shit. Fuck it. Just,
Well, I did straighten my hair for this. I was like, maybe I should do it. I got home from work. I was like, yeah, you're not camera ready.
you're not get ready.
I was like, at least brush your hair.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, I got home. You look great, but I got home from work and I do construction, so we flip houses.
Okay.
So it's just me and one other guy,
Mhm.
and so right now we're doing some painting. So we're priming and then painting. So I had paint all over my hands, up my arms. I had splatters on my face. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta, kind of clean up a little bit. And oh yeah,
I love that. Well, look, we both scrubbed up well, so good job to
yeah,
us.
yes, definitely. So do you like being a teacher?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I mean, I've always worked with children, for many, many years, and it's just, yeah, it's something that I, yeah, enjoy. And just, you could have the rubbishest day ever, or morning, weekend, whatever, and you can go into work, and then the children are like, they'll just do something, and you're like, yeah, life's good again. That's what
Yeah,
that's what you need sometimes, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
good.
They're a good
That's good.
laugh.
Now, did you grow up with younger siblings?
No, two older brothers that
Okay.
yeah, one
Oh,
one loved
jeez.
me and one hated me, so
Yeah, for sure. The middle child hated you. Okay.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. The oldest one, I was like the apple of his eye, and the
Yeah.
second one, we hated each other until like he was 18.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was real hate.
I got two sisters. I have an older sister and a younger sister. I
Yeah,
loved my older sister, when we were growing up.
yeah,
and I'm the middle child. I hated my younger sister. I teased her, beat her up, like oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
yeah, middle child syndrome I call it.
for sure. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I went in the military. I was, well, not that, and I was getting my ass kicked at school. I was, before I had a growth spurt. I was like 8 and 10 years old. I got beat up a lot, and I don't know why these two guys. I don't know what it was for these like year and a half or whatever. For whatever reason, they hated me, and they were older. And I remember when I turned 12. Excuse me. I had a growth spurt, but they had moved on. But I remember thinking, I'm gonna go into something when I get older that nobody's gonna fuck with me. Okay. And I picked the Marine Corps because that was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. and, and by the time I went in, it was, I was kind of over that, but I still wanted to,
Yeah.
do that. So,
You've had a pretty
but yeah,
cool life, eventful life. From
eventful for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I went overseas, had fun. My wife and I got married when I was still in. I think I had almost 2 years left, but I had just come back overseas, and right before we'd already got engaged and everything.
Mhm.
Well, I got in trouble right outside of base. I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, California, and when I came back, worked on a shooting range. Me and some guys, we had a big company party on a Friday. We're getting blasted. We go out in town, off base. We go to this bar. Well, we end up stealing a car and got caught and spent the weekend in San Diego jail.
Oh my
So,
god.
and then I had to go. My punishment was I had to go to 6 weeks of alcohol rehab on a naval at the Navy hospital. So, so I had to live at the hospital for the 6 weeks. And this is like, my wife's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" Like I'm like, "It'll be fine. It's no big deal." And then right after I get out of rehab, there's the LA riots. You're probably way too young to remember this, but there was the LA riots. There was the bank robbers in LA. There was all kind of shit going on that out by where I was stationed, where they were constantly locking us down for you couldn't go on leave. You couldn't go
Yeah.
home on leave
Yeah.
because we were on recalls. Like
When they needed
alert,
to. Yeah.
status. So my wife's freaking out. She's like, "You're not gonna," because I was stationed in California, and she was back in Ohio,
Mhm.
Cleveland, Ohio, and she's like, my parents were freaking out. I'm like, "Ah, it'll be all right." So I made it home, and then the ring wasn't ready. The ring I ordered wasn't ready. The guy from the ring store had to deliver it the morning of the wedding. It was like this huge, craziness leading up to this day. But and then so anyway, I took her
Even
back
on the
to.
day, it was like,
Oh yeah. Oh, you should have seen. I'm in my dress blues. I'm fine. I'm not even worried about it. I'm like, if we don't have the ring, I'll just pretend I'm putting something on her for the ceremony, and we'll get it later. Like whatever. My dad's all,
imagine. She's just like, is this a Haribo ring?
give me a piece of string. I'll tie it on there. It'll be fine. So my dad is freaking out, man. He's pacing back and forth, sweating, and I'm just standing there like, bro, this is like nothing compared to what overseas, whatever. So, but anyway, everything worked out fine. It was, but yeah, it was. We had a lot of excitement from
Yeah,
the
I
day
bet.
we got married, or from the start time I went to the Marine Corps
Yeah.
until really until a few years ago, and then everything's fine, and then I was paralyzed out of the blue. So always something going on,
Mm,
you know?
mm.
Oh yeah. Now, did you grow up where you're at now? Are you
Yeah.
from there?
Yep. I was born like 2 streets down from where I live
Mm,
now.
no shit. Okay.
Yeah, and then I pretty much stayed here, went to school, did all of that nonsense, and then I worked for a couple of years, and then I was like, I think I need to go and like see the world. So I ended up doing like the whole Southeast Asia thing. Went to Australia, and then ended up living in Australia for like nearly 9 months, and then came back. And then actually, I was gonna go and do a road trip around America, and then COVID happened, so we didn't end up going.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, had the money saved and everything like that, and was gonna go like 2 years ago, and then COVID happened, and then we just haven't been able to go. So we
Yeah.
bought a house instead,
Okay.
which is probably more sensible, really. But yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, traveling around like that is really cool. It's cool that you were
yeah,
able to leave the country and go, see a bunch of different places. Now, what part
yeah,
of
it was
Southeast
amazing.
Asia did you go to?
I did all of it. So I started in Cambodia. I did teaching
Wow.
in Cambodia for 3 weeks, and then I went to Thailand. Ended up being in Thailand for like over a month. I remember I had to go and get like another visa because my other one ran out, which was scary. That was yeah, that was
Really?
different doing that. Yeah, like they just, you know, they just treat you like you're nothing in Thailand. They're kind of like over tourists where like I think
Oh,
where like Aussies go there a lot and they trash it and then leave.
yeah.
Um, they kind of just like over, yeah, over you. When you're there, you're just like. So then when I was trying to extend my visa, they're looking at me like, ugh. I was like, and then I went into Laos or Laos or however, I know loads of people say it differently. I went
Yeah.
to Laos and I stayed there for like 2 weeks, and that was through like the grit of my teeth. I really didn't like it there.
Hmm.
They're like, they're not used to tourists, so, and they're like, I went to Vietnam after, and Vietnam, they love tourists. They was a bit unsure, especially in the north, but they would love you. In Laos, it was like there was just a different vibe. I just felt like, and I was traveling by myself as well at this point,
Oh shit.
and I, yeah, and I just like it was just a really uncomfortable vibe. So I ended up leaving very quickly. But I'm glad I traveled most of it. Um, it's quite small and it's very unmade. Like everywhere is under construction. Like it's actually insane. I'm like, how can the whole of it's like there's just scaffolding and roadworks everywhere. I'm like, this is insane.
Like nothing ever gets done. That's just their
Yeah.
normal. Okay.
They just climb it like it's
Yeah.
nothing and all
Right.
sorts. Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah. So I basically did like a whole circle really, and then I went to the north of Vietnam, and then I went down to the south, and then ended up going to Australia.
That is cool.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, in fact, most people, especially nowadays, don't really,
No.
your age, as they get to be adult, they don't travel,
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
country. And, that was a big thing. One of the biggest things that changed me as a person, I grew up in kind of a middle-sized town of 55,000, I think, and in Northeast Ohio. And it was, you know, I mean, there was no internet. I'm old as hell. Like, there was no internet, no cell phones. Like, if you wanted to learn something, you had to ask your friend
Yeah.
or look it up in an encyclopedia. So I went in the military, and then my first station was in Okinawa, Japan, and so it was like culture shock. Like I
Mm.
didn't realize people, in other countries still lived in grass huts.
Mm.
I went to South Korea for cold weather training, and I thought Cleveland was cold because we get snow there, but
Yeah.
South Korea, well, holy shit, it was cold. Uh,
Yeah.
but it just really opened my eyes to these different cultures,
Mm.
and how, that was the first time I remember realizing, what, we're really all the same. Like we want the
Mm.
same things. We might have different traditions, but we all want the same things. We
Yeah.
want, with our families or friends, we want to be loved. We want to be, I guess we want some attention,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we want to feel like a part of something and have a purpose in life. And so it really changed me early on
Mm.
as a person, and it kind of transferred over into my marriage and into raising, 5 kids. And so it was, it was a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely took a lot
Yeah.
from it. Yeah.
So when you were in, like Southeast Asia, did you
Mhm.
see, you saw this kind of like different lifestyle
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, especially when we was in Cambodia, because we were teaching, we were going like, quite rural, and yeah, one memory that really sticks in my head. I'm really fussy with my food. I'm a real, English,
How dare
sausages.
you?
Yeah, like I am like terrible. Just give me a bit of chicken and I'll be happy. Like I hate it. I would love to go to buffet and like, pig out and everything, but I just can't. And then when I was going traveling, everyone was like, "What are you gonna eat?" I was like, "I'm gonna be fine." Ended up getting to Cambodia. I think I was in like my third week or going into the third week, and my body just shut down. I think my body was like, "This is too much." Like, so I was just like, I slept for like 3 whole days. People
Holy
would come
shit.
up. Yeah, people would like so under this like mosquito net on this like thin mattress on the floor, and like the other teachers would like come because I went with a group, and they were coming up and like checking on me, and they were like, "Yeah, you literally slept for like 3 days." Like people were like kind of waking me up and like making me drink, and I remember waking up and I was like, I woke up in this like attic, and I was like looking around, like this mosquito net is around me. I'm all like disorientated, and I've like stumbled down these stairs, and then there's all these little Cambodian children that were all looking at me, and they're like, "Teacher, teacher," like they can't speak any English. All they can say is teacher, and I'm like, where am I think I forgot I was traveling. I was like, where is this a
Oh my
dream?
God.
And I had
Yeah.
all these like children like holding my hand, like taking me out, and then like where we were sleeping, you go downstairs and it's a classroom. Like that's what it was like. There was you like you say, there were all huts that they lived in.
Yeah.
No one had doors. They had like this toilet area, and they kind of took me out to then the playground, and all the other teachers were there and just looked around and was like, "Chloe's awake." And they said that I just looked so confused. Like I was just like, I mean, I'm pale anyway, but like, so they were like, "You're like a sheet, like a white sheet walking out with like all these children around you, like pulling you." I was like, honestly, I thought it was a dream. And then yeah,
Oh my
like the
gosh.
cultural difference, yeah, like, and then when I obviously came to, I was looking around this village, and they loved you. They were cooking you dinner, everything like that. But like pits on the floor with a big pot, cooking it. They're not washing anything, but like it kind of became the norm. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Like drop it on the floor, I eat it. Like it is what it is.
Exactly.
Whereas here, I'm like, no, I have a dog. I couldn't possibly eat that. Like it's ridiculous. And like even like the toilets, like out in Cambodia and Laos and the north of Vietnam, they still have the hole in the floor
Yep.
for the toilet. So in the south of Vietnam and in Thailand, they have like signs on the door to show you how to use a toilet, but it's for like the locals. It's not even for, like it's just insane, like just so different. But I don't know. I think I just was quite like single-minded about. I just thought everyone lived like I do. Everyone has a toilet. Everyone has this, and then like you say, it's a culture shock. You get, you fly. Although it's a long flight, you're still like, I can't believe people still live like this. Like
Yeah.
it's scary in a way, and I'm glad I saw it because I was naive until I done it. So I think it's definitely helped me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely opened your eyes to that kind of thing. Like when we grow up in
Yeah.
a first world country, and we have a lot of these amenities that we don't. I remember I was just telling the guy, one of the guys I work with, he wished he was in the military, and he had a medical thing, so he couldn't go in. But he's constantly asking me. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry, man. I just love hearing these stories. What, And he'll always ask me these things. And I said, well, I know this. When I went to Okinawa, it was my first duty station, so I hadn't learned a whole lot, and I was still fresh in the military. But I go over there, and the first time we go off a base to make a run, we had to go to an ammo dump, and I was like, we stopped at this checkpoint in the road. It's kind of like a turnpike, kind of like a toll road,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I gotta take a piss, whatever. So I go in this bathroom, and there's stalls there, and there's no toilets. It's a hole in the floor,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking around like,
Someone's
did I
taking the
go in the
toilet.
wrong place? Am I in the bathroom? Like, what is this? And it was so funny because as we were driving, you'd see people at these bus stops, and they were always squatted down. they would be squatting down, like all the way, like their butts almost touching the ground, and they
Yeah.
have their elbows up over their knees, and they're just waiting for the bus. So I'm like, what the hell are they doing? They're like, oh, they're doing the Kimchi Squat. I'm like, what is the Kimchi Squat? And so in Japan and in Korea, they have rotting. It's like sauerkraut, but they use seaweed. So they rot the
Yeah.
seaweed, they stick it in the ground, and or like we do with cabbage, and
Yeah.
so it's called kimchi. But anyway, and it's like spiced up or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, it gives you the shits, right? So they call it the kimchi squat because you're always going to the bathroom with this, when you eat it. So,
Yeah.
and that's how you have to squat over these toilets, or over the hole in the floor. And my buddy's laughing. He's like, well, like it doesn't always just come out straight. What if it's like, because I was telling him how long and narrow it was, and he's like, well, what do you like? How do you aim it? I'm like, bro, you got to get down close, okay? Oh yeah. My when I came back to the truck, my buddies were laughing like, how'd you like that toilet in there? I'm like, bro, what happened? Like, did they not know that there's toilets like you could actually sit on? Like, what's going on? Yeah, it was pretty funny. I didn't know that it
Yeah.
was like that in these other places as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? And then like say like, it's only Cambodia and it's like a tiny like, it's just like a bit of sea that's like dividing these countries, but they're so in war with each other, like like through politics and stuff that like
Oh
that
yeah.
Thailand is so advanced more than all of them, but even Thailand is still behind, like us, like it's just yeah, I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
another world, isn't it? I love learning
it
about all that
was.
stuff though. It is like this is kind of different, but like I was watching on Netflix Flint Town and
Okay.
all about like all the lead crisis and like all like the poverty out in Flint and whatnot. And I was like, I can't
Oh
believe that's
yeah.
happening in America. Like in my mind,
Modern day.
America's yeah, like that's just insane. And like how
Hmm.
the government were just like, yeah, yeah, we lead poisoned you, but bye.
Fuck
Like
off.
what? Yeah, like what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's too much for my little mind to comprehend sometimes.
Yeah, for real. Well, social media amplifies this stuff too, and then we
Mm,
start seeing these documentaries. I'm like, uh, I don't want to see some of this stuff.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
sometimes it's better to not know
yeah,
what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah. So
Uh,
you must find airsoft quite boring, I guess, because you've seen a lot in your
mm,
lifetime.
yeah, I don't. It's not boring.
I guess you make it what it is, right?
For
So
real, right?
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like you've been to you've been to places I haven't been. I always wanted
hmm
to go to Australia,
yeah,
and I had a friend when I was in Japan. He took some leave and went over to Australia by himself. And he comes back and he's like, "Bro, you gotta go there. There's all these women. They love us. They love Americans. They're hot. There's like five girls to one guy." And we're all just like, "Oh, we gotta go."
I'm sold.
Yeah, when can we go? Oh yeah. And then the Gulf War happened. So we all got. But yeah, yeah, I had a good time. But I'm always one like I'm never bored. I'm never bored.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
don't if I'm laying around, just sitting. I'm either reading a book,
hmm
learning something, or looking up something to study.
yeah,
I might have a conversation with somebody, and they'll talk about something that I have no idea what anything about,
yeah,
and I'll go look it up. I'll start reading about it. I'll start learning about it. I love learning new things.
yeah,
I love meeting new people, and it's just I'm always on the move that way. So
yeah, yeah.
it's now I have to say though, when I was editing a lot of these videos, we were putting out when we started our channel, we were putting out I think on average 3 videos a week.
Wow.
So I was listen there. I started getting a little burned out with that,
Yeah, yeah.
but I never really got bored with it too much.
hmm
Um, I just I'm always move on to something else and then
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, in fact, everyone that knows me is like, I can't believe you're still doing this airsoft channel because normally you get bored with something, you move on to something else, and so you're not bored. I'm like, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, this one's different though, isn't it? Like you say, you get to chat to new people and
Yeah.
learn new things. This is a different kind of hobby. It keeps your mind, a lot more active than,
Oh yeah, definitely. When we
something you
when
do
we
in
first
a game.
started, it
Yeah.
was I never wanted an airsoft channel that was just or a YouTube channel that was just like, hey, we're gonna record some videos and put them out, and record some videos and put them out. I wanted the I wanted the interaction. I wanted to
Yeah.
build a team, and a team of people that we have, you know, that we like the same thing or whatever, just have fun. So it's not.
Yeah.
It definitely had some slow points, but
Yeah. But that
you know,
happens with everything.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah. But I'm
and
glad you
that's
stuck through it.
yeah. Thank you. Well, the guys they got busy with like a lot of things changed in each of these guys' lives. So
Yeah.
Coltrane, one of my sons, he met a girl, moved in with a girlfriend, and then got a promotion around the same time at his job, started working more. My older son, Chris, uh, he got a promotion around the same time that his brother did, and started working more. And then JP from our channel, he he was getting he has a son who's 3 or 4 or 5. He's a toddler, so he started was able to see him more often. So and then his work schedule changed. So it's like we had all these videos and all these videos and all we were doing all this stuff all the time. And then all of that stuff changed for them. And then I was actually, getting well again, getting better where I could, start working again. So back
Yeah.
in February I started working, and so it's like the channel just kind of came to a halt.
Yeah.
And yeah, we couldn't get anybody together to do things. So
Yeah.
I was like, I really want to do some stuff for our channel. No clue what to do. Uh, Hell, I'll do a podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just talk to people on here. That's
Yeah.
But I've always been a big, you know, I guess proponent of promoting smaller channels too. That's kind of what happened to us, and I
Yeah.
wanted to pass that on. So anyone that gets in our Discord or comments on our videos,
Mhm.
if they have a YouTube channel, I'm like, hey, you want to, talk? I can promote your
Yeah.
channel. It's not like we have a huge following, but someone that's just
But you
starting
have a
out.
following, so it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
right, exactly. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
doing
I
that stuff.
mean,
So
when you messaged me, I don't think because it was on my phone, I didn't realize at first. I don't know why. I think because maybe did I get sent the link for your Discord? Anyway, I didn't know that you was the actual person from the Discord until like a bit later, and I was like, oh my god, he actually messaged me, and I like proper fangirled like over. I was
oh
like, I can't
Jesus,
believe that. I was
please
like,
don't do
wow.
that.
Because I didn't quite realize at first, and then I remember, oh, that was it. I went on my phone, I clicked on your profile, then went on your YouTube, and I was like, wait, that logo and the name is actually familiar, and I went back and I was like, oh, I'm actually in his Discord. I was like, that's so funny.
Oh my
I was
God,
like, I'm
that's
such an
funny.
idiot.
No, it's cool. Like that's a lot of people on Discord. It's hard to tell. Well, even
Hmm.
people that are on YouTube, you don't know who they are. It's not like
Yeah,
it's different than Facebook, obviously. So you don't really see connections. Like you can't
yeah,
see who they know and whatever. But when I saw your profile, I saw you had a YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, let me check it out. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like you're about little over a year into
yeah.
YouTube. You've got, you're over 500 subs. You got what 600 and something subs now. Uh,
666, the devil's
six,
number.
yeah, I did see that today. Actually, when I looked on there today, I saw that shorts video,
Yeah.
and I was like, as I scrolled down, I was like, oh shit, 666.
I was like, oh no.
Oh, on the day we're doing a podcast, the
Yeah,
parrot's
right.
definitely gonna, you're definitely getting attacked by your bird today. Okay, that's what it is.
Don't I can see you crossing your fingers.
Please, can I talk to the parrot? Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think it's great. It is so hard, especially on YouTube, to like the smaller YouTube channels to like get noticed. I guess like there's especially like in Airsoft. There obviously there's all the names out there, and sometimes it is hard to find them smaller ones. So I think it's great what you're doing. I mean, yeah, hats
thank
off
you.
to you. You're doing a good job.
Yeah,
And I did. Me and my partner watched some videos, and I was like, I'm getting more nervous watching them now. I was like, I can't watch any of his videos. I was like, getting nervous. I was like, what
oh,
about if
you're
I
fine.
forget everything? Jack was like, shut
Nah,
up, Chloe. Just go and do it.
you're fine. Yeah, well, hopefully you're more relaxed now
Yeah,
because
no, I am
it's
definitely. Thank you.
yeah.
It's just like the anticipation of it all and stuff. I think.
Oh sure. Oh, when I got home, I got home from work. I'm like, okay, I got to be on top of my game. Like I don't, she's got these videos. Like she's, gameplay. Like she probably knows, shit tons more about airsoft than I do. And like, what questions do I ask? No, I just, but it's fine. It's normal. It's natural.
Yeah, because I was excited, but especially when like I heard the accent, I was like, that would be fun actually because for us, we play like more woodlands, and we have a couple of like CQB sites and whatnot. But like when we sort of like think about your kind of airsoft, it always goes back to speed soft. But it,
Yeah.
it can't all be like that out there, right? There's got to be some
No.
proper good airsoft. There's got to be some great sites out there. Like I've seen a couple on YouTube, and I'm like, damn. Like when people get their drones out and fly them up, I'm like, we need to go. Like I would love to just take all
Yeah.
of our airsoft guns and fly over and just stay and play for like a month or so. I
Yeah.
think that would be insane.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a lot of outside
Mhm.
fields. Mhm.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. Is
Well,
your like FPS and stuff different?
I don't know. Our FPS varies by field, so like
Mhm.
and by game type. So the
Oh, okay.
a lot of the mil sims, the military simulations, they'll um, they'll have for whatever class you're in. So if you're going to be like
Oh.
a support player,
Yeah.
then you'll run like an LMG. They'll have a set FPS.
I love
And
that.
basically, what they do is instead of having a restriction
Mhm.
as far as like a max FPS for that field or for that particular event, they'll just do when they chrono you, they'll have you have a minimum engagement distance.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you had like a 400 FPS DMR, you're going to have like a 50-foot med.
Mhm.
Minimum engagement distance. I don't know if you guys call it that there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, good. So yeah, you'll have a 50-foot med, and they'll put like a zip tie, a colored, certain
Oh
colored zip
yeah.
tie
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
band on that weapon.
Yeah.
So if you're running a pistol or a sidearm, they'll chrono that as well, and then set that for whatever med. So uh, the guy I was just talking to, in fact, the podcast I just released last night, he's a guy that's local here, and we've actually been to each other's houses. He's been in a few of our videos. He was at an event Saturday, so he is running. He was going to run his AAP01 as a sidearm, but he's got that tapped for HPA. So he had it set on whatever the FPS was. It was a 20-foot med. So
Yeah.
and then his rifle is HPA as well, and that was a 20-foot med because he
Mhm.
turned it down because originally it was a 50-foot, so he turned it down. He got it down to 20, where it was a 20-foot, and he's like, I'm not even going to run my sidearm. That's pointless, because the
Yeah.
sidearm
Yeah.
you want to be, zero med,
Yeah.
so it's got to be under, like 300 FPS or whatever. But yeah, I think Do you guys go by when you go to a field and get checked? Do they do joules or just straight FPS for your tests?
They do joules, and I
Yeah,
don't. Yes, but it's yeah. So our FPS is normally about 350, and then I think like the DMR is 450. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of it really. Oh,
Now what?
they all kind of stay about the same every site, but I have been to some other sites, indoor sites, where I think they've had like complaints about people getting hurt.
Oh yeah,
And so they've like, they'll change it, or I know that I've heard some people say like, you can only have this weight of BBs and stuff, and I'm like,
right.
that doesn't really make a difference. Like,
No,
it's
yeah,
it's the gun pushing the beat, whatever,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna mansplain it to you because you're meant to be the man, but you're the
Oh, that's
marshal,
funny.
sir.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I remember these guys coming back from an event and they were talking about some rules like that, and I was like, what the hell do
Yeah,
they have that rule for? Like, does this guy know? But a lot of these airsoft fields were originally paintball fields, and they've just
uh,
recently, like in the past few years, switched over to
yeah,
airsoft. So I don't think they really understand,
yeah,
how
yeah,
that works because paintball, all the paintballs, that's a standard. The paintball
yeah.
itself, like your ammo, is not going to weigh, it's not going to be heavier or
Mhm.
lighter. Like it's just, the same size, the same weight. And
Yeah.
then your paintball gun, when you go and you get chronoed, like there's no variable outside of that.
Mhm.
So whereas airsoft, if you're shooting, .32s,
Yeah.
uh, those, at the same FPS as another guy that's shooting .20s,
Mm.
that 3.2 is going to hurt, a lot
Yeah.
more than the 2.0. But and that's why I think a lot of fields have gone to the joules, measuring
Mhm.
the energy that's coming out
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
just the speed.
Yeah.
But we'll have. I don't think there's any restriction on like a max FPS. They just so if you had something that's like if you're running a sniper,
Yeah.
it's 550 or 500 FPS. They just put 100-foot met on you, so you can't shoot
Yeah.
anybody closer than 100 feet. Now, obviously, with most things in airsoft, it's
Yeah.
on your honor, right? Like, it's just like calling your
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah.
But and so luckily nobody's been really,
Yeah.
hurt. Nobody with a sniper that's shooting 600 is shooting people, close range.
Yeah.
But you see those Rager videos where these guys
Yeah.
in CQB, they're teenagers and they're
Yeah.
freaking, they got the maxed out gun and the Polar Star and
Yeah.
that shoots like a laser beam, 100,
Yeah.
rounds a second. It's just like, bro. And then they get pissed off and they start blasting somebody from 10 feet away,
Yeah.
full auto. That's the shit that gives the sport a bad name,
Yeah. Definitely.
you know.
Definitely.
But yeah, most of our stuff is probably similar to you guys
Yeah.
as
It
far as the
sounds like
fields.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, like you say, I remember playing once, and I don't know if it's called like a. It was something to do with his trigger. I can't remember, but like, so when he pulled it in, it fired once, and then when he let it go, it
Oh
would
yeah,
fire
the
again.
binary. Hmm.
Yeah, and I was like for us, it probably again for you guys, but like ours is like a, like an army simulator. That's why we do airsoft, because like we want to sort of like role play. Like we have the realistic guns, we have the realistic uniform, and then when people bring in like these sort of guns, I'm like, just go and play Spitsoft. Like you're bringing the vibe down.
Oh, for real. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
go away. Like let us do what we need to do.
Yeah, that's those binary triggers. There's been a lot of complaints about that because a lot of fields will and events will have that rule where there's no full auto unless you're a support player with an LMG.
Yeah.
So and a lot of these guys are putting those binary triggers on, and or even the bigger like two finger triggers,
Yep.
and they can spam that thing like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
like the paintball ones, and and it's super fast if they have a electronic trigger,
Yeah.
and but yeah, those binary ones, it shoots like a full auto,
Yeah, it's
and
ridiculous. And I think
yeah,
You don't need it. Like, I mean, the amount of times that someone's come up behind me and like put like 4 shots in my back, and like I wear a chest rig, so my back is actually open. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, I turn around like that was so unnecessary. Like, one is enough. It's like drop shotting in like Call of Duty. It's so
Right.
unnecessary. And I remember
Yes.
last at this event, this guy got behind me and then he shot me once in the back, and he was like, I think where I'm a girl was what he was like, oh sorry, kind of thing. And I was like, no, like I appreciate that. You shot me once, and that was all I
Yeah.
needed. Like, I'm
For
out.
real.
Trust me. Like, it hurts. I'm out.
I'm telling you. Yeah, you get from the middle of your back to the, top of your butt
Yeah.
on the,
You see,
and
like,
around to
fatty
the
bits,
sides. Oh, it is very
Yeah, it's not
sensitive.
nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna
I
tell
remember
you.
one time I was
Ugh.
like, "Oh, you got me in the fat bits," and then you hear him like giggle as I'm walking away.
That's what you guys see. We call it love handles. Yep.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
that's it.
Yeah.
Get a hold of them.
Same. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, definitely. My legs are okay now, though. I think my legs have been through the wars, so I can feel it, but I'm not as like ooh anymore.
Oh, you had some welts.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Now,
You know,
what's the most painful place you got shot? Is it the lower back?
do you know what? The most painful place I got, in my forehead, and obviously I've got
Ooh.
quite a big forehead. So this is when I used to wear a dye mask. Yeah, I used to wear a dye mask.
Hey.
And it was like this bit of my forehead, and it just like I think maybe was a sniper, because he came back at the end of the game and spoke to me, and it just went whack, and like my forehead, like it was like a golf ball was put on my forehead, and
Oh
the
my God.
forehead, it was split, it was bleeding.
Oh
I was
shit.
like, I'm fine.
Oh.
Yeah, that hurt. I like had a headache for like 3 days with that bad boy, and I had
Oh
to go
my
to
God.
work, and that's when everyone found out like what they were like. What happened? I was like, oh, like I play this game Airsoft, and they're all like, what's that? Like they were all proper girly girls at my work, and
Yeah.
they're like, what's that? Like we go home and paint our nails and stuff, and I'm like, it's like paintball but better.
Right.
And they're like, what do you mean? And I showed them a picture, and they're like, what is this?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's funny.
they think I'm a bit loopy.
So you put makeup on it and you went to work and they're like,
Yeah.
what? It looks like a big pimple or something, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
and it was like took up like half my head, and I was
oh
like,
Jesus.
and they were like, there's no hiding that. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the most, yeah, rememberable one, definitely.
I was
Yeah.
when I was in paintball. I started out in paintball. As soon as I got out of the Marine Corps, we moved back to our hometown in Cleveland, Ohio, and I found a group of guys that I worked with that played paintball.
Hmm.
None of us had heard of airsoft yet. This is probably '95, and
And I was
so
born.
we.
Does that make you
Oh, there
old?
you go. Well, you didn't know anything about it then, But yeah, I was just learning about paintball, and I got into these games, and we play on one of the guys, his grandparents had a field, but I remember, and we'd come home with welts, like we were proud of it. I
Yeah.
mean, paintball hurts, so especially when it's kind of cold outside. But we would wear T-shirts on purpose so that we would get the welts, and we'd be, at the end of the game, we're all standing around showing, yeah, we're macho. Look at this welt
Mine's
over
bigger
here.
than yours.
Exactly. So I remember, and they hurt, but I never really got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Except this one time we were playing capture the flag, and I had me and one other guy. We were sneaking around, and we thought we flanked everybody. I'm like, come follow me, bro. I know the tactics.
I know
I know
this.
all this shit.
I'm
Okay.
the pro.
Yeah, exactly. So we go sneak around. Nobody saw us. We get over to their flag, and this is like full, really a wooded area, and so we're looking, and we got up to the spot, and we just stopped by this trees, and we're knelt down, and we're just waiting, not moving to see if anyone's around, whatever. We're all good. So I look back at him, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna run and get the flag, and I'm gonna run. I'm gonna make a beeline for the thing. You can just follow me, whatever, but I'm taking off. As soon as I look back to the flag like this, we got the mask on, paintball mask. As soon as I look back like this, my neck's exposed, and I get shot. This paintball hits my jugular vein. I mean, I thought I was gonna pass out. And this guy was like 20 feet away, laying in the leaves. I mean, he could hear everything we're saying. He's like, you know, he was sniping. But
Yeah.
it hurt so bad. I could like barely breathe. I'm choking. I'm like, and I'm trying to act, you know, manly because here I am, the Marine Corps veteran, you know, and I'm like, this thing's like swelled out to here. I can't breathe, you know. Oh Jesus! But that was the worst one I've ever gotten shot with, you know,
Yeah.
for that. But yeah.
My my mum, because I'm having work done on our house. I'm back at home, and my mum's just tried to deliver me a tea, and the parrots just chased her out the room. That's just
Oh
what was
jeez.
happening just then. I was like, "What are you trying to do?" And I just turned around, and my mum's just like wrestling the parrot with like a cup of tea in her hand, like.
Oh yeah. I got my cup of tea over here, you know.
Oh, I didn't get mine.
Oh
Mine's just gone back out
Jesus.
the
Well,
room.
you can get it. It's fine.
It's fine. She'll probably try again in a minute.
So how did you get into airsoft? So you're this preschool teacher at a you know high end privileged school, you know, with all these kids that are like, you know,
And then other
uh,
weekends I roll around
yeah,
with mud shooting BBs at
right?
people.
Now how do you get into that?
My partner, so Jack, I've been with him a couple of years now, and then we sort of came out of the first lockdown, the proper lockdown, and he was like, he's been going 4 more years than I have, so he's been going like 5.5 years. So he had all the gear, a couple of guns, and he was like, oh, like, you know, after we came out of lockdown, he was like, I want to start going airsoft again. Like, do you want to come? And I was like, because you know, I play games. I've grown up with two brothers. I'm not like the girliest girl ever. So he was like, you know, do you want to come? And I was like, what? Sorry, what's airsoft? Like, what's airsoft? Thinking it's like a trampoline thing. And he's
Oh shit.
yeah. I was like, air? Like, yeah, okay, I'll go trampolining.
Oh, that's funny.
And then he was like, well, it's like paintballing. I was like, oh, I've been paintballing, you know, like with my brother's birthdays and whatnot. And then I went along with him. I tell you what I wore. I wore Vans, gym leggings, and then his like he had a dark grey top, like just a little t-shirt, and then I
Oh,
had a dye mask. I just rocked up. He gave me this M4, and I've just never looked back. It was
oh,
when I turned up, the marshals was like, "Oh, never seen you guys before," and Jack was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm new. She's obviously new because look at her gear, kind of thing."
oh.
And then, yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, are you gonna wear that t-shirt out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Has she been airsoft?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "I'll be fine. Like, I've been paintballing before." And do you know what? Honestly, it didn't hurt. I think I just like Jack said I was like a jack in the box. Like, I was like, you know, by the safe zone, had the safety briefing. We went out. I was like the first one, like when they were like ready, steady, go. Jack's like a walk-in one. He'll walk in, get there when he wants. He's got like, you know, the good guns that shoot really far. I was like gone. He said he was so surprised, like my first ever game, and I was like shouting at people to move up. I was like, this is amazing, and basically I've never looked back.
Oh my God, that's cool. Now, how
Yeah,
many
he was
welts did you
like,
have from that?
pardon?
How many welts did you have from that?
Not that many to be honest. A couple like on my arm, but
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean it was quite an amateur site anyway. So you know everyone was pretty new. Everyone was kind of worried about Jack because he came with all the gear, and everyone was like, "Oh, who's this guy?" kind of thing. And he's someone like you know, you probably, you know, you get quite fixated on something and you probably spend loads of money on it and then go, oh, I don't like this anymore, and you'll go and do
Yep.
something else. That is Jack. Like, so you can imagine the kind of gear he had for airsoft. Like, even now, you know, he's got like, you know, all the Gucci stuff as they call it. But you know, I'm happy with mine. Put a little MOSFET in it and I'm happy, you know.
Oh, that is funny.
And
That
I've
would
never looked
be,
back. Yeah, I think it's great.
yeah, that is cool. Okay. So how many have you got? What's the biggest event that you guys have been to? I know you said you had there was one that was like 300 people and
Yeah, yeah. I went to like a bigger one. This guy, Tim and Richie, they have like a group, and they're called what are they called? The Hessian group. Harrison Group, I think it is.
Okay.
And I popped up on Instagram. I made myself an Instagram because I was posting stuff on my personal Instagram, and I was getting silly questions like, "Is that a real gun?" And I'm like, "We're from the UK. That's obviously not a real gun." Like, and I just felt like I was annoying people with my airsoft like posts. But like, do you know, you're just really enjoying a hobby. You want to post about it. So I
Yeah.
ended up making an airsoft one, and he actually popped up on my airsoft Instagram and invited us to this event. And then whilst it wasn't a meal sim, but it wasn't like a normal day. It was kind of like, somewhere in between. And there was, it was in a quarry, so it was like very
Oh,
different to what we're used to.
yeah.
It was kind of like an invite sort of only kind of guest list. And at this point, again, I didn't know who he was. I was like, this guy's just messaged me on Instagram, like, who's this guy kind of thing.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
now we're like, quite good friends, and he's got like, so many followers and, 20k subs on YouTube. And
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
yeah, it's just him, like, just him. No
Yeah, it's just
biggie,
him.
he's my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably their event was probably the biggest one I went to. It was called Ruckus.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was in a huge quarry. It was, yeah, it felt quite American actually, which probably sounds silly to you, but quarries are not really like a thing that we have here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they were going to actually do a night game recently, but it ended up falling through again because I think because of COVID, and I was really excited for that, but it didn't end up going
Oh,
through.
yeah.
But I would like to do that, a night game. That would be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
definitely. Yeah, I think you would like it. Based on some of the videos I watched from your channel, I
Yeah.
think you would like all the. There's a field here that is where our guys play a lot, and they usually have bigger events. Well, it's
Hmm.
actually uh, it's a real military and police slash SWAT training facility that
Wow.
they use for airsoft every couple months or whatever. And so they've got this whole setup
Yeah.
where it's like indoor. They'll do outdoor too. They had a huge field,
Yeah.
but they'll do indoor, and it's like dark, and they'll have like strobe lights. They'll have it's all kind of crazy,
Yeah.
uh, craziness going on. Different levels. So these guys are like trying to go up the stairs in groups, in their
Yeah.
fire team or whatever, and somebody drops a grenade down there, and it's all concrete walls, so it is like
Yeah.
realistically loud.
Yeah.
So they've got some pretty cool fields, and it's funny when you said the speed soft because we don't even have any speed soft fields in South Carolina that I
Oh,
know of.
really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't even like it's not really a thing here.
That makes me
Um,
happy.
Yeah, these guys have played. We got a couple. We got a lot of fields, a lot of places to play
Yeah.
around here. But yeah, they played some night games at this place, and they're like, man, it's kind of dangerous. Like we're walking, they'll go inside, outside,
Yeah.
and vice versa, and they're, it's kind of rough terrain, and like you don't have NVGs on. You can't see at night. Like you're, watch where you step. Like
Yeah.
guy fell in a hole, his leg went all the way to like a 4 foot hole, which is not deep, but
But
when you're not expecting it and one leg
yeah.
goes in,
Yeah,
like,
and his loadouts on. It's probably quite heavy.
right,
You're gone.
exactly, yeah.
That would
It's
be
like they
me.
were
I'm always
walking, they were
falling
like,
over.
we're walking and talking, and because they were getting ready to go to this next, station point or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like, what the hell? Where'd Colton go? And he's stuck in a fucking hole back here. No, but yeah, they've got a lot of different, places like that
Yeah.
to play. So it sounds cool that, the way you're, the field you're going to.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing that you're able to meet people online like that,
Mm.
local, that can tell you about these different events
Yeah,
that you
definitely.
go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, you have all these different gameplay videos like in the last couple months. I'm like, are you going out like every weekend? What do you?
We do mostly, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it got a bit slower, and so I just got over COVID. So my last two videos, no, my last one I did actually go out. My last video I went out the other week on the 2nd of January. So that's the new one. But then the last two before that, I think I actually did whilst in COVID. Like I just edited whilst I was here. But yeah, pretty much we kind of took a break in like December time because of buying the house and whatnot. But yeah, we
Yeah.
pretty much go out every weekend, every other weekend. We try to go out. Um, it's just so much fun. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, it's just different, isn't it? Like if you because we if we are ever got something if we have something planned, it's normally of an evening. So ours normally start early and then finish around 4, half 4. So
Yep.
you normally go home, get ready, go out again, and then you end up going out with like all these things on your arm, and my friends are like, you look like you have chicken pox.
Exactly. Oh
Like
yeah.
just take tan, it's fine.
Well, when speaking of that, when we first started our channel, I was constantly on these guys, just busting their balls about, oh,
Yeah,
airsoft's, for kids, like whatever. Like the guns look cool. I was
yeah,
editing these videos. But I hadn't played. I was still, kind of scooting around the house. I couldn't really go
yeah,
outside too much. But I remember I was always teasing them about how airsoft is like for pussies and paintball is where it's at, and they're like, I'm telling you, this hurts, I'm like, whatever,
yeah,
bro. So one day we were outside, we were filming something, and I was like, all right, come on. So I think we had just gotten a mystery box, and we got a man, I can't remember what gun it was, but anyway, it was like a shorter full auto gun. I think it was a World War II era. Well, this thing shot 380 FPS with .2s. So, and it had a 90 round mag. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine. Shoot my hand. So I'm standing by the target. We had a target set up, to like
yeah.
film testing. We review
Cool,
doing a
yeah,
review on this gun. So I'm like, just shoot my hand. So I stand like this. I don't have anything on. I'm not, no glass. I'm just like, go on,
oh
go on.
no,
Now I do have I had a beer in my other hand, but I'm like, go ahead and shoot it. And they're like, Dad, no, we're not going to shoot. It was my son I was telling. He's like, I'm not, dude, this is going to hurt. I'm like, I don't care. Go ahead. I bet it won't hurt. So he's like 40 feet away.
yeah,
Uh, Listen, I'm going to send you, when we're done, I'll try to remember. I'm going to send you a picture of
yeah,
my hand. Oh my God. It looked worse than chicken pox. It was blood blisters. I mean,
yeah.
all over. In the next like week after that, my hand was like swelled up like this
Oh,
high. I
yeah,
mean, it hurts. I couldn't make a fist. I
yeah,
said I will never make fun of airsoft again. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And the hand hurts. Yeah.
Oh, bro, I'm telling
God.
you.
Because
But
I wear like
yeah,
padded gloves, and even still, if I get caught in the hand, I'm like there shaking it out. Like I need to just take a knee.
for real. Oh yeah, I learned my lesson that day for sure.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it was like, people would come over and they're like, "What's wrong with your hand?" We'd have family over or something.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm like, they're like, "It looks like chicken pox." I'm like, airsoft. They're like, "What?
Yeah.
Those little toy guns?" You
Yeah.
know?
Because sometimes when I say, they said, I like, so what does it shoot? And I'm like, they're like pellets. And I'm like, no, they're little like plastic BBs. And they're like plastic. I'm like, let me shoot you and then come back to me with that attitude, honestly.
Oh, for real. Yeah, I'm saying that's what happened to me. I was the
Yeah.
same way.
If I
Oh
don't
yeah.
go to the airsoft for like a little bit, like when we had a bit of a break when one of the COVID lockdowns happened, I was like kind of nervous about being shot again. And then one of the marshals was like, "I'll help you out with that." I was like, "Are you gonna
Oh
shoot
shit.
me?" And he went, "But." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Do I have to take that hit?" And he was like, "No, it's fine."
Nice.
Because sometimes they like, they play, they'll have like some running marshals and stuff, so they'll shoot you during the game, just to check that you're taking your hits and stuff. So I
Oh,
was
that's
like, do I have
nice.
to take? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's normally when people are like, bitching. I remember sometimes, sort of one guy was like, you know, because we have a lot of wooded places, you have people that think they're like their guns are like, the dog's bollocks and they can shoot through everything. So you have these guys that are like shooting through like 4 bushes and they're like, I'm hitting you. I'm like, no, you're not. Like your BBs aren't even near me. So then there
Uh,
was this one guy like giving it the big one, like after he was like, I've hit you, black top multicam, I've hit you. And then I was like, are you talking to me? And then he was like, oh, yeah, I think so, girl. And I was like,
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. I was like, honestly, you have not hit me. I was like, shoot me again. And he was like, trying to shoot me. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not even there. And he was like, by this time, he's like, got, like, you know, he's, like, I've hurt his pride now. By this time, he is like full autoing through like the bushes. And I'm
Oh,
like, still not hitting me. Still not hitting me. Still
oh
not
my
hitting
God.
me. And then he finally hit me. And I went, well done, you've hit me. And then I've come out the bushes to find him. Because like by this time, I'm quite angry.
Sure.
So I've come out the bushes and they're gone. They are
Oh,
gone. So I've gone to the marshal and I've like, just to let you know, some boys were moaning at me saying that I wasn't taking my hits, but they weren't even hitting me. And I was like, can you just tell them to stop being pussies? And then the marshal started really laughing. He was like, some guys just came out moaning about a girl not taking her hits, but because I'm got a local at this site, and they were like, and they were talking about you, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, honestly, just keep playing. He was like, they're new here and they've been moaning about a lot of things. I
yep.
was like, so sometimes we do have like, yeah, the playing marshals that carry their pistols around just to like, you know, shoot people and see if they take their hits, which honestly I like, you know. I'd
Right.
rather they do that than people, you know, moan about things like that guy did. And then when I like tried to confront him, he was gone.
That's terrible. You know,
I
that's one
know.
difference I've noticed from paintball to
Mhm.
airsoft. A lot of paintballers, you we didn't have that issue. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
couldn't not call a hit. You know, it
yeah,
was very very difficult. I mean, I guess you could, but I mean it hurt, and so you
yeah,
flinch, and then there's a big paint splatter on you, bro. You ain't hiding that shit.
yeah.
Okay, like you're gonna have to like like it's gonna
Brush it
stick
off.
out like this kind of color all over you. You know, like
Yeah.
what are you
Bring a
doing?
little wet wipe out and just
Right? Like you're spitting on it. Like what are you doing?
no hit, no hit.
Yeah, oh, it just didn't happen. So I mean, you know, the airsoft thing. When I first started watching some videos to learn how to edit and put a
Yeah.
video together, I was watching Airsoftology,
Mhm.
um, and he does, like one of his taglines is at the end of each video, something like, have fun out there, whatever, and whatever you do, call your freaking hits. So I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I don't even know. I was I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I started watching some videos. I'm like, oh, holy
Ah.
shit! They're like, it happens all the time.
Yeah,
Like these dudes are
it
getting
is.
shot over and over, and they're just like,
Yeah.
uh.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean sometimes like because I have a UMP and it's now been upgraded, but before it hadn't been upgraded, and again I was quite new, so like my hop up and stuff, I know it now. Now I do, but before I'd be like, boyfriend, help me. but sometimes I'm there like checking my hop up, and like I've still got like mid cap, so like I'm winding my mags, and I'm like, am I not hitting them? I'm like, I know where my gun can hit now, like, and I'm looking at it like I should be hitting them, and they're still there. I'm like, that's why sometimes I'm like, I would love a scope cam, because like it would
Right,
really tell you at the end of the day, like, what's happening there.
right.
Um, and then you see some people like they'll go, and then they'll go back behind this tiny tree, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I've obviously hit you. You just
Like,
flinched.
dude, you just flinched, and now you're going back into position. Like, dude, get out of here.
But like when they
Oh,
hide behind these trees like this big, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. And
who
they're
are
like
you
this
hiding
wide,
from?
you know,
Yeah.
or they stand sideways and their stomach sticks out over here.
It's like, what do you
Like,
need to, you like cover your ass or cover your tummy? You need to decide.
they're like this, trying to dodge.
Yeah, the Matrix.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Now, what kind of gear do you run now? What's your favorite weapon to run?
So I've still got. Oh, well, I've got two actually. So I've got a UMP and I have an MP7, but the MP7 is a gas blowback. I, to be honest, I love them equally. Like my UMP was my first gun. I think I made a very good choice with that gun. It's a very good gun, and it's not like known a lot. Like when I go out, people are like, is that a UMP? And I'm like, yeah. And then a lot of people will be like, is it good? And I'm like, and then the people that do have a UMP be like, yeah, like it absolutely slaps. So I'm glad on that behalf. But the mags, trying to get like other mags for it is a bit of a pain, especially because
Mm,
it's a G&G and they don't actually make them anymore. So that side of it is a bit of a, but on the other side, the MP7, because it's a gas blowback, there's a lot more to it than just running a gun in, especially like the way I play as well. I need more ammo. So I think I
Right.
love them. I love them both equally for like, if I was doing like a smaller site, smaller games, then I would probably use the MP7. If it's like a longer game and it's like a pushback game or a capture flag kind of game, then I'll probably use a UMP. So yeah, they're my only two that I have. And I have some other guns that I want to get on the go, but I like really controversial guns. So I can't make a decision yet. Because every time I'm like, so I want to get a P90, and everyone's always like, no,
Oh yeah.
don't get them, they're horrible. And I'm like, yeah, but they're so cool. Like, they're so
Yeah.
different.
Right.
And then I want to get a Vector, and then people keep telling me that that's really heavy, and you probably wouldn't be able to run it. And I'm like, well, I'll just have to go to the gym then.
I mean, just use the gun,
Yeah.
and your body will adjust. Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's obviously a bigger purchase. They're like, £500.
Yeah.
So that's like another thing. I really want to get one, but because people aren't like, yeah, get one, I'm like, oh no. And then I want to get an AUG.
Okay.
So yeah, but like the it's not an SMG, but like it's styled like an SMG, the smaller one. So
Yeah.
and again, people have like they're all like, they're quite snobby over here with their airsoft.
Really?
They are like in their own way, they have all their like the Gucci kit and whatnot, and
Yeah.
yeah, but
Well,
it's
I mean, that's a big part of airsoft is the tactical,
yeah, right. And then other than that, I've just recently got a pistol and a nice little holster for it that I've been running. And I just, as I say, I like to go like light, so I just have a small chest rig, and then I just wear like the black top and then the multicam bottoms with the multicam chest rig. Because I can't find a top that because it like nothing's made for girls. Like literally nothing. So you buy like the small boys top, and it's still like, you look like a square running around. I'm like, I know it's not a fashion show, but also I don't want to look like a 12-year-old boy.
Right. For sure. That's one thing that paintball had was those cool, splatter looking shirts or whatever.
Yeah,
like the
jersey
jerseys.
type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the jerseys. But
They're cool.
yeah, airsoft. It's like you're either kind of like you look like you don't know what you're doing if you just wear regular clothes.
Yeah.
Or you're decked out with all this military gear that weighs like 100 pounds, and you're like, I can barely run from here to there, before you can,
And then people add like on their chest plates, they add like metal chest plates like they do in the army, and I'm like, that's insane. Like Jack used to run like the camel patch on the back,
Oh, yeah.
so he would have like a couple of liters of water. I'm like that your gear is heavier than me. Like I would not be able to. I'm like light, whatever is lightest I'm going, so I can just sprint at people.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And what
I would
you were
like
looking
to,
down? You have your pistol there, or some of your guns there?
I have my gun bag.
Oh, I want to see it.
My gun bag's always near.
I want to see it.
I got the UMP to hand.
Okay.
So some sites have started to make us wear like barrel stocks, which is kind of gay, but that's fine.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Let me put my camera so I can see. So this is the UMP.
Ooh, that looks awesome.
Yeah, and then I know like I get a lot of hate for this, but when I'm pushing a building, because like I'm 5'2", so this is a long gun for me.
Right.
So like when I'm pushing a building, I fold the stock in.
Yeah.
So then it's just like it's there.
That's perfect.
Because this is when I didn't have a pistol, and I get a lot of hate for that, but it is what it is.
Why?
And
Why would they hate for that? Like that's.
I don't know, because they're like, that's not what it's
smart.
made for. The stock is made for
So?
like, transport. I'm like, yeah, in the army, remember, this is a game.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Oh yeah, I got a torch, but you probably can't see it. The first time I took this torch out, it got shot out. So this is actually
Oh
completely
shit.
shot out now.
Oh my god.
And I just bought a new suppressor, and I
Yep.
also bought a little guard for this because I had that like, do you know the one that sits here?
Yeah.
That like, yeah, the
Yeah, that little
protector.
plexiglass plate. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of don't look like you know what you're doing with that, so I got the protector.
Oh.
Do I have the pistol? Let me see. Let me see. I don't have the MP7, but everyone knows what an MP7 looks like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's played Call of Duty for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if it's here. Jack likes to take my guns and like open them up. He's someone that likes to know what goes on in the inside, you know.
Oh yeah.
So he, as soon as I let him open the UMP, he was so excited. And then this is the pistol.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's the free burst. The
Yeah.
Renetti, the M9,
Right.
M9 free R, I think it's
Okay.
called. I might have to Google that. I might be
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, and then it has like the free burst or the single burst, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Well, the single fire. But it's heavy. This is like the heaviest bit of kit that I own. The rest of it doesn't weigh anything, and then this thing like
Oh
sits on
yeah.
my hip, and it's like it's like having a little child sitting on your hip. It's ridiculous.
Somebody gets out of line, you can whack them in the head with it.
Yeah. So it's new, so I haven't used it that much. I took it out, and I went to shoot it twice, and it didn't shoot.
Oh shit.
So I'm just standing there with like my pistol aiming at someone, well twice, and then the second time I did it, someone went. "Ah!" I was like, "You okay?"
It worked.
Yeah, pew pew, you're out.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so that's fine. I think I'm just cocking it wrong. Again, it's trial and error with new guns
Yeah.
and whatnot.
I mean, you're a girl, you know?
I'm allowed to get things wrong.
No, I'm teasing. Well, we have two daughters. I taught them, how to handle a gun since
Yeah.
they were like 5 years old. So, our girls probably know more about, gun safety and how to shoot than, most women out there because,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of them didn't get, training and stuff. And you're probably, in that boat too with Airsoft. There's not a lot of girls out there playing with you guys,
Yeah, no,
It's,
not really. Yeah,
yeah,
recently, some girls on Instagram were trying to get like a day going,
there you
and
go.
we all want to meet up. Yeah, I think there's yeah about 20 of us that are ready to do it.
Yeah.
I just hope that like we don't turn up and people are like, oh, we've got a girl. We're against girls because they'll have to think twice about that when they see us running at them.
Well, we had when we first started our channel, I was like, why aren't there more girls in airsoft? Like, this is cool, it's fun. It's not like you know, there's a kind of a level playing field, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have the right gear. If you know what you're doing, you can. I mean, you don't look. I've seen some airsoft players. A lot of these guys are like, gamers just getting out of their chairs,
Yeah.
going in, and they're not in shape. They're kind of
Yeah.
clunky. They're not tactical. They don't know a whole lot of, tactics. So I'm like, they don't have training. Like, what's the, what is it missing? Why aren't these
Mm.
girls out there? So we started early on. We started a, God, I can't remember what it was called now. But I think it was like October. We did this whole month of women in airsoft or something like that,
Oh
and
wow.
we were promoting. We were trying to
Yeah.
promote. We're trying to get more girls interested in
Yeah.
airsoft, and so it just like I'm looking at our analytics, and it was just like the female viewership was like it didn't move. It was like 1%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I don't know. I even listen. If you look back at some of our older videos, man, they're hilarious and embarrassing. But I had this one where I did. I even ordered girl gear. I had like T-shirts. I had swimsuits. I mean, like just trying to get something,
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
with that. But yeah, it's so anyway. Yeah, you probably get a lot of those comments like you're talking about where you
Yeah,
get, like,
yeah.
oh Jesus, she's got to be on our team. What's going on?
Right. Yeah, I remember one time, again, I think this was quite early on. I didn't have the gear because I was like, because it is quite expensive. You really have to, feel like I'm someone who, like, me and Jack are very different. He will spend money quite quickly. I will know that I have, I'll run around with the rubbish gear until I'm ready to, I'm still gonna have a good time. I don't care. Do you know, like,
Yeah.
so I was still running around in my Vans and whatever else. And I remember we got put on a team, and then we got changed, and they said, is there a group of three? And me, Jack, and my brother were like, oh yeah, we're a group of three. And we changed, and I swear to you, I heard like, oh girl, and I was like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And then even Jack and my brother were like,
Uh,
I can't believe that. Like, they are gonna regret saying that. And I remember by
right.
the end of the day, these guys came up and they were like, you're hilarious. They were like, you don't care. And I'm like, no, because I heard you like sigh. And then they got all embarrassed, and I was
Right.
like, but like,
Yeah.
all in all, I think I've been quite like accepted into the airsoft
Yeah.
community. Obviously, I've had like a few weirdos and whatnot, and the guys that are like, oh, it's a girl. But yeah, I mean, soon as you start playing, they're soon standing at the back at respawn, and you're the ones capturing the flag. So, you know.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's cool. Now, what's your next big event you guys are going to?
I'm hoping so that Hessian group, the Harrison group, sorry,
Oh yeah.
they're planning to do. They keep hinting at another big event because the night game didn't go through. So I'm hoping the next couple of months that they're gonna do a big event, kind of like Ruckus, I hope, and then they have that site pretty much like on lockdown. I think like their friend owns the quarry or works at the
Oh, nice.
quarry. Yeah,
Okay.
so they've got some contacts within that, which is very nice. And also, I am looking at some night games. A few sites have been doing it, uh, but the sites that are doing it, I'm like, not too keen on. So I'm just keeping my eye out for like a good night game, I think. And then yeah, we'll just go from there. And then we're just trying to try out new sites as well. There's sites everywhere popping up, so we're
Good.
just trying to like branch out quite a bit, and we're staying at places and going there, and yeah,
Man, it's been fun. Uh,
yeah. Thank you.
I know it's
I've
kind
had
of getting,
fun.
it's probably getting late where you're at.
Yeah, it's 9:30 bedtime.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
you're staying up late. Woo, you're
I
a
know.
rebel.
I know, right? School night.
Oh yeah, party. Well, yeah, it's been really fun. I'm really glad you were able to, jump on here with me, and you're willing to. So,
Yeah, no,
like I
thank you
said,
for
it's
having me.
yeah, of course. It's always hit or miss when I contact people.
Yeah,
Uh, they don't know who I am or they don't know
yeah,
what's going on. If they haven't seen any of our previous podcasts, they're like, "Why is this dude contacting me? Like, what are we doing?" But I really appreciate it. And so, how can people find you? What's your YouTube channel and any of your social media for your channel? Because we'll
yeah,
try to get you because you're fairly new. Your channel's fairly new.
yeah.
We'll try to get you to that thousand sub mark.
Thank
We'll promote your
you.
channel.
Get
Yeah,
me off
for
that
sure.
666.
Yeah, I know, right?
So pretty much in all of my social medias, it's Englefield.echo or just Englefield Echo. Um, Englefield is Engle Field, which I know people struggle with spelling. Yeah, Instagram is like that. I think the Discord is like that. YouTube is like that as well. So yeah, feel free to follow me or sub
Awesome.
to me.
Yes, for sure. We will. Well, I appreciate you, Chloe. Everyone
Thank
watching and
you.
listening, definitely go to Englefield Echo on YouTube and subscribe. And when you do, if you came from, if you saw this on our channel, let her know that you came from the TriFaction and, that we appreciate you. So thank you for being a part of what we're doing. And we will join you as well on your journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll
Awesome.
speak to you soon, all right?
All right. Have a good one.